Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I still have these on, and I don't even need those. Let's get those out of here. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so we're talking in chat a little already. We're going to kind of deviate from what we have been doing. We've been writing a song, and it's really coming together. And I'm going to start off by saying thank you to everybody who's contributed and joined me on any of the live streams going over the song. I'm now hearing thunder, so this will be interesting if we lose power for some reason. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens. But if for some reason this stream gets cut short, storm. Yeah, that happens. Okay, so we were writing a song. We built everything up. It is very, I'd say it's done. There's a couple things that we need to redo. There's a couple things I need to redo. That I'm not going to do on stream with you guys today. What we're going to do today is actually approach a different song, and I want to show you guys some of like my workflows as I mix a song. Not the song we were working on. This is totally different. So it's going to be a good approach because it's going to be like fresh for your ears. It's going to be brand new. I've heard this song has already been released, but thankfully I got permission to get the multi-tracks and to use it in some lessons. So that's what we're going to do. And we have we have a version of the song. I believe it is the final. It could be mastered. I don't remember. I'll have to take a look at the file name. But we have a reference of what the artist actually put out. Now we can do what we've talked about in some of my YouTube videos or some of our previous streams, and we can try and beat their mix. Now, I don't have the information of who mixed it. It could have been one of the guys that was in the group. It was a few Reddit users that banded together to create the song that we're going to work on today. It's called Revolution Blues, and we'll get into it in a second. So it was a bunch of guys on Reddit. They grouped together and wrote this song, and everybody added their own little things. I need to just get that out of here. Sorry, I'm just trying to clean up my little workspace. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to mix it. I'm going to show you some stuff. Now, here's the key. I'm going to try and get this mix as close to like version 1 as I can in about an hour. So we're going to take a couple minutes in the beginning. I'm going to show you what I've already prepped because I went in yesterday and a little bit this morning and did some prep work on here. You can kind of take note of some settings, but things will probably change as we go through. And mostly what's gone in so far is just like a lot of my favorite stuff for like reverbs and delays and things like that. But on the channels themselves, there's not going to be anything on it. Everything is printed. Like, you know, there's a bass distortion track that's already printed. We can make our own. If we don't like that one, again, we could figure it out. But the goal today, oops, that's wrong. The goal today is to kind of speed our way through this mix so that after, let's say, an hour, it'd be something we would send off to the client and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Should I keep pushing on from here? Or do I need to reapproach some stuff? So let me bring this over here. I'm going to sit kind of in my spot. And boom, here we are. So let me show you some of the stuff that I've already done. I'm going to scroll all the way over, and you'll see that on all of my channels, there's not really a lot going on. You'll see a couple things here and there. Oh, you know what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to make the mouse bigger for you guys because I know how you like a big mouse on stream. That's in here. Display, cursor size. Whoop. Let's make them like that. That should be fine. Because I know you guys like a big mouse when you're looking at things. All right, so let's bring this up. Here's my kick track. Here's something you'll notice is I just duplicated it and I put Steven Slate's trigger on here. That's another thing about our stream today is I'm not going to restrict myself to just stock plugins. I'm going to use my stuff as if I was mixing this for a client, and you know that's why it's like the no holds barred mix session that we're doing today. So these two are into a bus. There's nothing on the bus. Same thing for the snare. I have Slate trigger just on a duplicate track for there, and those are going into a bus. Then I have my overheads, which actually I didn't do, but I'm going to put those into a bus so I can treat them as stereo. Overheads. And that's going to my drums. Good. Drum, 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 mix. Cool. I'm also double checking to make sure that everything's going to you guys. I do have a snare plate already set up, and this is going to go to my drum bus. I have a parallel 33609, which is actually 2 instances of the fat channel, just the compressor, after a splitter. so that the left and right don't really affect the left and right. I don't want it to do that. I also have a slam parallel processing in case I really want to just like crush these things. Big mouse. Yes, thank you. I have bad eyes. I got you, Brett. So I'm going to be using my buddy Cornef Audio is the talkback limiter in case I really want to slam these drums. We'll see if we want it. Here's my blue bass, nothing going on. Here's my green guitars, nothing going on. Here's a purple piano, nothing going on. So you can see we're really starting from scratch. And actually you'll probably notice as well, all of my faders minus my bus faders are at 0. The buses are, well, the piano is up here, so we'll bring that guy down. Everything's at 0 minus my buses because I want that pass through. So lead vocals, nothing on them. Now, some of the vocals were printed with effects, and that came in a note, and that's fine. They also sent a reference of the vocals, which I have down here, which is the blue one is a vocal mix of like something that they did in their song and just like a reference. And then I also have the rough mix over here. It looks like it is a rough mix. Yeah, so we're not working against the master, we're working against a mix. So yeah, all my channels, everything's at 0, nothing's on all of them. Okay, here's where there's a little bit of stuff going on. First, on my mix bus, there's the send to you guys. That's what this is. And then I have some normal things that I do. I have an SSL style compressor. This is the one from Waves. I have a Pultec style EQ. This is the one from UAD. I follow that up with the Slate SSL style compressor. And the reason I'm using this one is because I have the high pass filter set at 80, and then it's going to be doing just some minor stuff. All of these things are still in bypass, by the way, on my mix bus. I just want you to notice that everything on my mix bus is bypassed. And then it's all going to go into a 2-track style tape machine, which if you want to see it, there's the heads. It doesn't matter. Wait, were they spinning? Why are you spinning? It's not even playing. Whatever. Okay, so that's all going to that. Then it's going to my main. My main has my EQ correction for my room. This won't affect you guys. You won't hear it at all. Now, the last few things is, here's all my effect channels. This like light green, whatever you want to call it, tealish thing. The first few here are reverbs. And there's different styles. I have a room reverb. I have 2 different halls, one from the Lexicon 224 style and one from the Lexicon 480 style. I have a Bricasti room on here, and these are all going through the Slate Verb Suite because this has a bunch of different modules in it. So I can go in and find like different things. And I'm experimenting with different reverbs. I'm really trying to find ones that I like a lot. So I was recently watching some stuff, and I wanted to experiment with these. I know I'm going quick, but I want to get into the actual mix things because that's what we're here to do. I have a non-linear reverb for any drum stuff. That's kind of like the idea with this guy, but he's there, and I can send whatever I want to them. I have these 2 here, which are called Vocal Shift and Guitar Shift, and these are kind of like the old Eventide H3000 or HXXX. It's a micro shift, so it's a detune and a delay of the signal itself. This is set to 100% wet because it's going to be a parallel thing that I'm going to be doing. I have one for the vocal and one for the guitar. It could probably be the same one, but I don't want the guitars feeding the vocal one because I'm probably going to like flip pan on the sends for those. Citywide Fires. Hey, everybody. Hey, what's going on? This is cool. I'm glad you're able to join us. Thanks for coming and hanging out. All right, last few. And these plugins may change. These are my delays. I have a slap. I have an 1/8 note. I have a 1/4 note. And I have a 1/2 note. I'm not necessarily using all of these, but I have them all in here. And they're all right now just the Waves H delay, kind of stock. The only thing with the slap is I took it off of host BPM and I put it to milliseconds and I dropped the feedback. For the other guys, and all of my delays and reverbs have a Pro EQ before them in case I want to do some tone shaping into the EQ or reverb. Okay, we're all there? We're all happy? Cool. Because what we also might do is maybe I'll take these delays and put them into the reverbs. Who knows? Maybe we can have some fun with that. We can always change everything. That's the great thing. You'll notice all of my effects are solo isolated. This way, if I solo something, I can still hear it. And then you could just turn the send off if I don't want to hear it. So yeah, here's all my reverbs. They have a Pro EQ. They all have the same thing, like the Abbey Road thing. These are all on right now, and we can adjust it later because who cares? reverbs and delays all have the same thing. The micro shifts do not, because I don't want that to happen. So I think we're here. That's everything that I've done prep-wise. You'll even notice I don't have, let me pull open my marker track. The only thing on my marker track is just the start and end. I don't even have any markers in there to put me to like a chorus or anything. Which maybe we'll add those in because it's good to have. And, you know, you need to know where you are in the song. So let's see some stuff real quick. I'm going to just collapse my effects down because I don't need those. As a reference, I'm also going to drop this down. These aren't going... This needs a send to you guys. And this needs a send to you guys. But I won't... Well, they're muted, so it shouldn't be bad. I just want to make sure that you guys hear the references real quick. So that's actually something I want to do is listen to... Oops. I'm going to make sure that this is coming to you guys real quick and check my levels in here. Let's see. Beginning of the song is that button. I don't have my keyboard shortcuts on, so... Keycaster. Let me turn that on. Hit A just so that you guys can see it. Put it in this general area as we usually do. Okay, keyboard shortcuts will be on the left side of your screen. Okay, cool, cool. Let's check this reference. I just have it down. We'll find a spot for it. Oh, So that's what we're up against. This is the mix that they sent. Thank you for adding in all your notes. Just as a safety precaution, I'm going to turn off the sends to you guys. I know it's muted, but just for my own safety. Okay. Keep throwing it in the chat. What do you want to hear? Now we're going to get into it. So what I'm actually going to do is start going through this as I would. And I'm going to go through it quickly. I'm going to do my best to try and point things out for you guys, to explain some stuff that I'm doing, but really just kind of watch and listen to how you'd like to hear more bass. Kyle, okay, cool. Kyle also said he wants a wider spread on the drums. Then Brett was saying, that it's also, it sounds good and it's clear. That's something we need to make sure. That's like our baseline. We need to make sure that everything is clear, but our mix, or my mix anyway. So let's get started. I'm curious, what do you guys think? Should I throw on a timer real quick and say like, okay, well, you got 60 minutes and we'll see where we can get, try and like rapid fire through a bunch of this stuff. But yeah, so I do have things like color coded and ready to go. Boop, boop, boop. What is that? Oh, that's just me being, what? Yeah. Junk emails. So we know what we have to compete against, and we can always go back and listen to it, because that's why we have our rough mix, or their mix, in the session. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a timer real quick. Come on, wake up. Wake up. Get out of there. Okay, ready? All right. Hang on. Let me come over. One hour. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do this in an hour. Ready? Let me flip it back. Ready, steady, go. Okay, that's just going to be screaming at me the whole time. So here's my lead vocal. I'm just going to kind of pop that to 0.
Viva the devolution!
Okay, I already know. I want that down a little bit just because of the volume in my room.
Viva the devolution! We're gonna start a revolution, blues. The bastard son of all Messiah.
So what I'm doing right now, very quickly. Oh, let me just double check this. That's fine. Okay. I'm checking my relative output levels, and where I'm peaking. So that's why I just soloed or put the kick at 0. I'm looking at like where the peak levels are with the vocals in.
Viva the devolution! We're gonna start a revolution.
So you can see we're at like -6, -7. That's gonna be perfect. Then we can fill in from there all the other spots. Okay, so there's our snares. That's our snare that's in there. That's all that. Okay.
Viva the devolution! We're gonna start a revolution, blues. The bastard son of all Messiah, Holy Ghost, and miss by you. We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose.
So that vocal is just another. It's another track, which most likely what we're going to do is just take all these red guys and put them all at the same. That's an outro thing. Oh, that's a distortion. I don't want that. And then I do have some doubles, and we'll get those out of the way. But also, why are you doing that? Come on. Come on. Why is my own shortcut not even working? Whatever. I'm not worried about it right now.
Viva the devolution! We're gonna start a revolution, blues. The bastard son.
I'm gonna come back more. Now the reason I'm not panning these toms, you can see they're already printed stereo tracks. So I don't need to push them into the stereo field. It was printed this way, and I can leave them like that.
Viva the devolution! We're gonna start a revolution, blues. Kick up the roots from the old ground.
Ooh, that's bad.
Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one-horse town. Saddle up, we're getting out. But there ain't no escape in the end, who you gonna believe?
So there's some vocals that happen there. That's all cool. Let's go back to the beginning. So we know that this, why are you just, okay, fine. You want to do that? Fine, be difficult. Don't listen to my own keyboard shortcuts that I just put a video out about. Or actually, this is, it goes right into the verse.
Viva the devolution. We're gonna start a revolution blues. The bastard son of all Messiah, Holy Ghost, and miss by you. We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose.
So the vocals are screaming at me right now. So I'm just going to grab all these guys. I adjusted him. I don't want to do that one. I want to do these. I'm going to put them all at -6, except for that guy. I keep grabbing him. I think there's some other stuff that happened in these vocals down here, like these backgrounds, or maybe the gangs. Scrolling through, get rid of this thing. It's like right. Okay, so there's those. I think this is a printed delay of those. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so one thing I'm hearing is there is some stuff going on in this snare drum that I want to get rid of, so I'm just going to throw open a fab filter. If I don't know if you can hear it, let's grab him real quick. That, the 311 right here, not the bands, the frequency. I don't like it. So, oops, not dynamic. I didn't mean to do that. I just want regular. I want to scoop it out a little bit. Make it a little wider. Ah. Okay, so that's closer to what I want.
Viva the devolution. We're gonna start a revolution blues. The bastard son of all Messiah, Holy Ghost, and miss by you. We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Hello.
So right there where the chorus or the pre-chorus happens, there's another guitar that needs to happen, so let's blend that in.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse down. Saddle up, we're getting out. Cause there ain't no escape in the end. You're gonna believe.
Okay, so we're close. I still feel like the vocals as a whole are probably hitting a little hard, so I'm going to bring them all down just a little bit more.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Saddle up, we're getting out. Cause there ain't no escape in the end. You're gonna believe.
So you saw I had these three selected. I threw the 1176 or the CLA 76 from Waves on. Now the settings that I adjusted were only on this one, as you can see. So because I had these three selected, it added the plugin, but it didn't add the changes that I did. So I'm just going to remove and then copy from here. And now those settings are exactly the same on the other ones.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose.
I do want to throw a fab filter on here. This is that guitar that leads into the chorus. This is the pre-chorus guitar, but there's some conflicting frequencies. right here around the 2K mark. I'm just going to pull some of that out and tighten it up a bit, just to make way for the vocals themselves. Let's tighten it up a little more.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tear the whole thing down.
And I do want to experiment with just throwing this on the rhythms as well. It's the same thing. I know that they're doing different things, but I want to carve some space for the vocals themselves.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground.
So on these guitars, the cut that I did, it helps, but it's too harsh. It's not too harsh. It's too strong. I just want to drop this down a little bit to carve some space. So I'm going to reduce it by about half. I think it was at nearly -4. Now I'm just going to put it to about -2 and just split the difference. I'm just going to do it. Actually, why don't I do the same thing? Just get rid of this one, copy this one over. There we go.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose.
Now, there is some stuff going on in the cymbals. I do not know if these were actually acoustically recorded drums. I'm going to assume that they were samples. So, not that it matters, or not that it's not samples, programmed drums. That's why those cymbals sound a little wishy-washy to me. So we're just going to use some EQ on our overhead bus and address it from there. And maybe we'll even just grab it.
Down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Saddle up, we're getting out. 'Cause there ain't no escape in the end. You gotta believe. We got a state of execution. Yeah, the thieves in the hospital. They're going time on evolution as there's nowhere left to go. We're climbing the walls tonight 'cause there's nothing left to do. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground.
Okay, so we're listening. I'm listening in the chorus, and I can hear, and this might be something that I can kind of just like cut it out, because in the verses, I think the snare is okay, but I want it to be a bit bigger in the chorus. So we just need to locate the chorus real quick, and then I can throw a sample on in trigger and only have this track go, or like not muted, just either by cutting the region or doing some mute automation, which I'll probably just cut the region. It's easier that way, to have like a fatter snare. So very quickly, let's find a drum. And actually, I think what will work is actually one of the ones from Billy Deckard. Let me just throw, not the snare. Why are you not? Oh, I know why it's not there. Maybe. This is very close already to what the snare that we have. I just want something a little deeper, and maybe I can just take this one. Too much. Also, let's drop that level so it's not killing you guys. That could be okay. Let's try these ones, and we'll blend them in. Let's find our chorus. We also have to check the phase on these ones versus the snare that's in here.
Saddle up, we're getting out. 'Cause there ain't no escape in the end. You got
Okay, so I think we're close to the chorus. I'm going to go back and listen to the verse.
the bastard son of all Messiah, Holy Ghost, and this by you.
So I want everything like up until here. I want this one muted. because I want it to be thinner in the verses. Oh, well, let's go to that. My system, of course. Do I have other stuff going? No, just Studio One. I don't know why you're struggling so hard, but it's fine. Actually, I do know why it's struggling so hard. All my reverbs, they take up a lot of like resources on my machine. So I don't know if you guys heard that. Listen to the transition where it's a small snare to a big snare, right after the verse into this pre-chorus. I'm gonna and thankfully, like I can move my my cut around, because maybe I actually do want the big snare to only be in the chorus, and I don't want it to be in the pre-chorus, or I want it in the pre-chorus, and I can volume automate it to be a little bit louder in the chorus. We'll figure it out.
Oh, Messiah, Holy Ghost, I miss by you. We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling that.
So it's got a little more fatness. This already has the room built in. And I can just ever so slightly bring that down.
Oh, Messiah, Holy Ghost, I miss by you. We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Saddle up, we're getting out. Stop doing. We're gonna believe. We've got a state of execution. Yeah, the thieves in the hospital. They're going time on evolution as there's nowhere left to go.
What I'm listening for here is there's a lot of cymbal bleed that's going in like this mid-range, like the 3 to 4.5-ish, all the way down to like 2K. I want to get rid of some, but at the same time, I want to listen for some of like the attack and the knock of the kick drum, which is going to be in that same relative upper region, which is kind of like in the 4K to 6K area for a kick drum. So it's a balance of those things.
Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Saddle up, we're getting out. Thought there ain't no escape in the end. Who you gonna believe? We've got a state of execution.
I have to find the other spots to cut things out. Hey, Marp, what's going on? Marp, we're doing a speed mix. I got 42 minutes left on my timer going. We already listened to the rough, so good luck. You're going to have to follow along.
Oh, Messiah, Holy Ghost, I miss by you. We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Saddle up, we're getting out.
had to redo my shortcuts because I was too busy with the video that I made that I forgot to put it back to where it was. So I just want to do some things real quick.
Fire, Holy Ghost, and miss by you. We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse down. Saddle up, we're getting out. Got the lead, no escape in the end. You're gonna leave.
So there's some stuff going on over here. Just want to get some relative balances.
Tear the whole thing down. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat.
What are these things and why are they screaming at me so much? First, let's slam them over.
Tear the whole thing down. Tear the whole thing.
Oh, it's this. This one's screaming at me. That's why things are crazy.
Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Time to find our own way. So there's a lot. We're climbing the walls tonight, guys. We're climbing the walls tonight, guys. There's nothing left to do. Tear the whole thing down.
So I'm going to take these guys in a bit because I want it to get real wide at that chorus that's going to pop in right there.
We're climbing the walls tonight, guys. There's nothing left to do. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground.
Okay, so I know that it's just one vocalist listening to all these backgrounds. So I'm going to steal my compressor. Boop. Slam all you guys to the same settings because it's the same dude. Who cares? And honestly, all of these doubles, they're exactly the same as well. So let's grab all of these. This is an effect track that I'm remembering, so I'm not going to mess with that. Throwing my compressors on. This is another effect track, so I'm not going to do some stuff into there. And we do have whatever these gang vocal things are. They happen like towards the end. Sounds like him again, so we'll throw that into there. Not ashamed of what I'm doing. The kick problem only seems to be the right channel. Let's see. Can you use some Pro EQ stock plugins as a dynamic EQ, sending and side chaining? No, you cannot. What you can do with the Pro EQ stock plugin is side chain into it from another channel to see whether if you have conflicting frequencies, but unfortunately you can't trigger like a dynamic EQ in the way that you're asking Hazel. Bill says, is there something strange with the kick drum? It was making a flappy sound on my speakers. I'm also hearing it on my headphones. It could be that my low end is pushed ridiculously hard. And you're hearing that. So, oops, let's throw on a fab filter just to see like what our whole mix looks like. The kick problem only seems to be on the right channel. Oh, if it's only on the right channel, it's actually something from me. So what I'm going to do is actually reduce. Oh, I know what it is. It's because of this to you guys. So the general volume going back to you guys is going to come down a little. And it actually already has. This is one thing I forgot to do in my prep. So I'm sure everything was kind of really loud for you guys, and now it's kind of soft, and you're probably going to bump it up a little. I am sorry for that. That is something that's inherent in the video capture card of mine. So you may have to adjust your volumes again. Sorry about that. Kick drum bad on one side. Yeah, agree with the drums. Clicky distortion. Yes, the does appear to be in the higher frequencies. Yeah, guys, sorry. That was something that I forgot to do in my prep work. This is the output to you guys. It's clipping the codec. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I have the Elgato HD60, the little guy, and I have an analog into them. If I don't reduce my output, it just slams at a point, it slams to you guys. So that's what you were hearing. Now everything should be good. The volume is going to be lower, so you'll have to adjust on your end. But unfortunately, it was a codec. That was my bad. Sorry. All right, I'm wasting time. Okay, so that's that. That's close to the end. Let's come back over here to our pre-chorus because we need to weten these vocals up a little. Also, let's just find a relative spot for the piano, and we have a solo, and then we'll start throwing some effects in. Kyle, I appreciate that donation, man. You rock. I appreciate you guys all so much. Anytime you do donate, it really helps out. Let's see. Bill, I just had replaced the surround on my speakers 2 weeks ago. I thought it was my speaker. Just tested some stuff and it was okay. It could be a screen capture. Yeah, guys, sorry. That was definitely 100%. I know it for a fact. It's actually something that you'll find inherent in some of my first videos is I was clipping the codec too much. Everything's cool now. You'll get it. Again, appreciate you guys. So let's find a spot for this piano. Let's find a spot for the solo, and then let's start addressing these vocals a little bit more, make them a little wet, get them where we want them, and have some fun. We'll put the doubles in as well. Ooh, interesting. There's a little guitar in here that we just need to, I'm going to kind of eyeball normalize it as well, and then I can just automate it. Okay. I want this. Yeah, I want to slam this guy. This is printed as a stereo track. I'm just going to throw my binaural pan in there and make it mono because I really want to enforce it to be right up the center, just like these vocals are. You can see that the vocals are indeed mono tracks, like that. So I'm just throwing binaural pan onto our solo. Slam, you're now straight up the middle. Might just have to double check the pre-delay on that. That's the lead. I want to find the harmonies that go with that, which is these guys. So you two are also going to get this, and then I'm going to do the little trick. This one is pan to the left, this one's pan to the right. I'm going to take the sends and put them opposite. Okay, generally speaking, for my backgrounds, I'm going to throw it into the other hall. Actually, what I'm also going to do is throw them into the room first that I have. I'll show you guys. It does have the Abbey Road trick. This is on, and this is a brickcasty tiled room with about a second of decay time. So this vocal is going to our bus, and I'm going to do some sends from there. I just want to emphasize some things that need to go into reverbs a bit more, especially in this part. As for this vocal, I think it only happens in this part of the song, and I'm looking at the whole song here, and that's exactly what it is. There is a double for it, which is this guy, so maybe we'll copy him over as well.
the old ground.
Okay, so it's actually an octave, but that's fine.
Tell the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. Tell the whole thing down.
Definitely a double. Let's find some stuff from this guy, which is just the verse vocals.
We got a stay of execution. Apathy's in the hospital.
All right, so I'm going to shove it out of the way a little. This guy is a stereo track. So for this double, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something else. Is I'm going to use the classic. This is from Waves. It's the doubler. I think I have the wrong one. I want it to go from mono to stereo. Doubler. That's the one I want. I'm going to turn the direct off because now essentially what it's going to do is take that single vocal for this one and just put it left and right now. It can also do a little detuning, which isn't necessarily bad. Actually, I think I kind of want that. I am going to turn the high shelf off, not really do any modulation. So we're going to turn those things off. The direct sound is off, so it's just the left and the rights.
We got a stay of execution.
I'm just going to do that line again. So here's with just a mono double, everything up the center.
We got a stay of execution.
Same line, spread out.
We got a stay of execution.
So it kind of pushes it out of the way of the lead vocal a little bit. Okay. Let's go back to the start.
Hey! I feel by the devolution. We're gonna start a revolution blues. The bastard son of all Messiah, Holy Ghost, and misspell you. We're stuck on
That actually may have turned everything off to you guys real quick. I wanted to bypass everything because I wanted to show you where we started and where we are now. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, I'll go to the chorus, or the pre-chorus into the chorus, and I'll do like a before and after. So where we started with just our balances and then all this little stuff that we've been doing.
we're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tell the whole thing down.
I gotta be quick.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Tell the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Settle up, we're getting out. Unbelieve though escape in the end, who you gonna believe? Hey, hey. We got a stay of execution. Apathy's in the hospital. We're going time on evolution as there's nowhere left to go. We're climbing the walls tonight, guys. There's nothing left to do. Tear the whole thing down. Kick up the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me.
Let me find that fab filter. Actually, I'm going to copy it over. I'm going to put it beforehand.
We're stuck on a dead end road with the feeling there's nothing to lose. Don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Settle up, we're getting out. Unbelieve though escape in the end, who you gonna believe? Hey, hey. Hey, hey. We got a stay of execution. Apathy's in the hospital. We're going time on evolution as there's nowhere left to go. We're climbing the walls tonight, guys. There's nothing left to do. Tear the whole thing down.
That's not anything I want to use at all. So we're going to go like this. We're going to go to our base, and I'm going to duplicate complete. So what I'm going to do is now throw on a Pro EQ, because it doesn't matter which one I use. I just want to roll off a bunch of the blow ends, and I'm eyeballing it because it doesn't matter. I just want like the mids and the attack of this, and I'm actually just going to roll off some of the top end. Actually, I'm not going to roll off the top end. So you can hear on the bass already is like some grit, which is fine. It's lovely. I want a different kind. So I've actually been playing around with the Sound Toys Radiator, which actually, let's bypass that one real quick because there's a little version of it. Little Radiator. So I'm just going to use this one. Noise I'm going to turn off, and I'll mess with the bias. That is a lot warmer for me. The saturation is nice, and I think it'll blend nicely. So it adds like that nice, it's kind of nosy. It pushes it forward a little. Let's blend this guy in with the track to give the bass a little bit more presence. And then we'll actually just do some compression as well. Let me catch up real quick while we're at the 24-minute mark. Can automation be turned off on in certain parts of the track, or one has to keep it at 0 for that certain part? Automation is automation. You can tell it to do what you want it to do at certain times. If you're doing things like a plugin, you can do bypass. You can do stuff like that. If you're doing volume, that can change over time, or you can just kind of set it where it is. I believe automation runs for the whole track. Yeah, automation goes for the whole track, but you can just it really depends on what you're automating. If you want something on or off, you can easily do that. If you want something muted or unmuted, you could easily do that. Where if it's like a change over time, like volume or something, that runs the whole way through. If you can be a little more specific with your question, maybe I can answer it a little bit better. Let's blend this in. And also, I'm just going to hide this guy because I don't need him. I want this one. All right, I want you to watch what I'm doing here. I'm going to throw a limiter on, but before the limiter, I'm going to throw a splitter. I want the limiter over here, and what I want to do is do a frequency split because I want my low end of the bass, which is now going to be, hang on, I got to look at this thing a little bit better. Usually you can turn these off. You can do it like that. All right, so listen to this. That's just our very low lows of the bass. I want these things to really be defined. So I'm going to take this limiter after I've done my frequency split, and I'm going to throw it on just the low end. And now I'm going to set it. Come on. And then we're going to do another thing as well, where we're going to throw the, we're going to do some side chaining. Ready? Side chain compression. I want to put this compressor also after the limiter. Now, the limiter is to put the low end at the volume that I want. I want it to be consistent, so that's why the limiter is first. Then the compressor is at the end because it's going to get triggered by our kick drum. We're just going to go to our kick bus, which is this guy right here. And now let's adjust. Oops, I'm clicking all over because I'm running out of time. What do we got? 20 minutes. It's actually not that bad. Hard knee. I want this thing to do its thing. Ratio, maybe just like 4. Should be fine. I'm not worried about that. Thank you both. Yeah, you're welcome, Hazel. Okay, let's dial in some side chain compression on the low end only of this bass guitar. So if you're on small speakers, it's going to be really hard to hear, but what it had done is it gives a little bit more thump to the low end of, and like the thump and the punch, so, words that you can use, to the low end of the kick drum. I'm going to do it again. I hope you're on big speakers and you can hear the low end happening. Oh my goodness. So when I have it engaged, it allows the low end of the bass guitar to get out of the way of the kick drum when it's happening and then brings the bass back in. I may have to adjust the release times on that so that it's not doing any crazy pumping, but I'm cool with this as it is. Okay. Something I do want to do. I don't know about you guys, but I am a fan of SSL style EQs on drums. Okay. Also, what I'm going to do, because this is a printed overhead track, is I'm going to throw this plugin from JST, the side widener, and I'm actually just going to push those cymbals out to the sides a little bit more. Our kick drum is going to go up the center. I never change these buses, but it doesn't matter. Our toms are going to be stereoed, and they're printed as such. That's fine. Okay, so I'll do a before and after the side widener on the overheads as well. So this took those cymbals and it pushed them out to the sides just a little bit more, kind of making some space for some of the other stuff. Let's head back to these vocals because they're really dry still.
But there ain't no escape in the end, who you gonna believe? Hey! Down, kick out the roots from the old ground.
Oh my goodness. What are all you guys doing? Come on. That's why none of my blends were working. Silly. Silly, silly, silly. Let's Let's take that down. Let's take that down. We'll blend it back in.
You got the roots from the old ground. The deadbeat ideas don't mean nothing to me. Leave the one horse town. Saddle up, we're getting out. Don't believe those gave me the end. You gotta believe. Hey, 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 hey. You gotta stay.
This is for the piano. I'm going to find a spot real quick. Let's see where we're at. We're approaching 15 minutes. We're approaching 15 minutes left. Quick, in the chat, while I'm doing this for the piano, what do you think? What do you want to hear? Hit me. Throw it in there. I want to see what you guys have to say. I want you to hear what this thing is doing. This is also from JST. This is the Joel Wanasek bus glue keys. I have a few different ones from JST, and this is the one that I have for right now for the keys. The push is like a saturation parallel compression kind of thing. It's really nice. I'm just going to solo out the keys so you can hear it. And I'm also going to fast forward to them. So I want to throw this into my vocal shift. This is going to make the vocals just a touch wider. Let's hear the bass line with the kick. You got it. Kick. Bass. See, Brett's saying he thinks the kick is too powerful. Okay, well, we can blend it in. Okay, so for this guy, we're also going to throw him to a little delay. These guitars are going to go to my guitar shift, but I'm going to do the same thing where I throw things off to the sides. And instead of just changing the sends here, I'm just going to go to the return itself and just kind of pull it back into a better spot, because these are the only things going to this other one. How's the kick now? Let me know, guys. I gotta change those default settings because that thing is ridiculous. Here's something else we're gonna do with this this lead, the solo. I'm just gonna throw some extra saturation on it. You may be able to see this. You probably won't. I can't even make it any bigger. Here, let me just solo it, and then we'll put this in the bypass. Little fullness, a little bit more to it, a little bit more growl. I'm liking it. Let's see. I do want to do I'm going to do a little saturation on my guitar bus as well. I'm going to turn the noise off. We haven't checked these things at all, but let's go back to where we are and our bus settings and see if we're like slamming it. I've got 7 minutes left. But you guys have been very quiet. Come on, guys. I know you're in there. I know you're watching. What are you thinking? What's some of your stuff? Let's find some of these last little things. Throw things into chat. I have a couple little vocal things that we need to find. One is this Devil Lock. It's like a distorted vocal. And another is this guy right here. The gangs are all mostly in there. Let's find this guy. Where? Oh, that's like the printed effects. Right. So we can do some automation on this guy. And just say you. Oops. Let's find a spot. So that's something. What is this over here? Okay. I'm going to data zoom to find where that starts. Just say all you. Data zoom down. We're concentrated on what you do. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Is it working? Come on, guys. Okay. We got to bring that up. That's that same thing from before. So we can just take this. What are you doing? Come on. You guys. Come on. Quit being dumb. There we go. Too much? A little more? What is this stuff? Okay. Same kind of thing. Grab it. Select it all. Volume. Automate. Okay. Another thing like that. Cool. You guys. I want you to like see that I'm like just cranking the data zoom so I can find these things. Because if everything was like normal, and I wasn't looking at automation, like you couldn't even see that. So that one needs to come way up again. There's some more stuff. Let's see. Brett is writing notes like crazy, figuring out some bits as I don't have the slate trigger. Would have to use transients and drag to MIDI with slate drums, which I do have. Kyle, what you can do is use the groove editor, throw your drums into there, and pull the MIDI out from that, and then throw that into slate drums or Impact if you want. If you want to do it that way, you don't have to have trigger. You could. Let me show you real quick. The groove editor is. Hang on, I remember where he is. He's in here. In Q for quantize, if you go to groove, this track right here. Let me see if I can do it real quick. Let's say I needed a trigger track. I could take my kick drum, drag it in. It's going to analyze it real quick. It found all my things. Then I can drag this out. And once I line it up to the beginning, if I had an instrument track, I could just drop it in, throw Impact on there, set my notes. Boom. Now you essentially have a trigger track. So go to the Q, go to groove, drag your thing in. Right now I'm looking at the bend markers, which I don't want to see on that. And then drag it out. There, I do have a video out on doing this. Also, Marcus has a video doing this. Marcus Huskins have done that as well. Cool. What do you think of OTT plugin? Do you use it? Is it cheating? I have not used it. If I remember, it's multiband dynamics, and it probably has some decent presets. I'm not sure. But I'll look into it, and maybe we'll use it on the next one. At this stage, do you have any plugin on your stereo bus, like Armada Group plugin, CLA? Oh, yeah. Well, my stereo bus is all of this stuff that we were looking at before. This is everything that you guys are hearing. So first up is an SSL compressor. Doing a fair amount of stuff. I'm going to turn things down because I'm probably bugging my wife and kids. Where are we at anyway? We get a little less than a minute and a half. I will follow up with this stuff. So I do have things going on. That's what everything is going on over here. Very quickly, it's an SSL bus compressor into a Pultec into another SSL style bus compressor, but it has a high pass filter. It's the Slate one. That's then going into the Slate tape machine, and then I just threw FabFilter on at the ends, kind of like an analyzer, so you guys can check it out. Let's see what's left. I thought I heard something. I was like searching around, but I don't. It's fine. Don't move. You stay there. There it is. That's it. That's where we are. That was an hour, and we got through the entire song, doing a bunch of things real fast, throwing things in. Yes, I had done some mix prep stuff, but a lot of this happened live fast for you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a listen to the intro of the original version first. We're going to listen to, let me send it to you guys. We're going to listen to the rough that came in that we didn't reference in the hour that I had going on. We're just going to listen to the first verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. Then we'll listen to ours and we'll compare and see what's going on. So take a listen. Also type into the chat what you think of where we are and when we get there, what your notes are. Let me know some stuff. That's not fair. There was a big volume difference. So let's try. I'm going to volume match real quick. They're not perfectly lined up, but now they're a little bit more volume matched. And I already noticed something. Hazel, thank you for the donation. That means a lot. I appreciate everything that you guys do, even if it's just hanging out or donations just like that. Thank you so very much. Okay, very quickly. Actually, let's kind of eyeball these to be about the same. Okay, so that's where we are. I kind of volume matched real quick. We were jumping back and forth. Tim, putting compression on the stereo bus can be a big problem if the song isn't mastered, isn't it? So why put compression there? Many people do it, but I wonder. It's a very good question. The reason I'm doing it is because I want to take my whole mix and do that magical word called glue it all together. There, you do have to be careful because you don't want to over compress your mix. But if you're looking at what I'm doing on my mix bus, my first compressor is doing 2 to 3 dB of reduction, give or take. Let's just jump to the pre-chorus real quick. And you can see it's triggering mostly like when the kicks are hitting. So they're kind of just squeezing those kicks in a little bit more and giving like a little extra like sustain to them, a little extra body to them. I do have this followed up with an EQ to add some more of that low end boost, and it's also just kind of like a smile face curve. And then this second compressor that I have going on is only doing about 1 dB of gain reduction, but it's not triggered by the low frequencies because I have a high pass filter on this one set to 80 hertz. I just want the low end to kind of pass through and not trigger the compressor. I can adjust this if I want, but this is kind of all like those top peaks. So now I kind of have a compressor that's being triggered by both the low end and the top end, and they're going to affect everything, but it's going to squeeze them all generally the same. It's how they're listening to the signal and affecting it. That's what's kind of different between these two. So let me show you. We saw the first one, which is doing about 2 to 3. And you can see the biggest ones are like when those snares are hitting. They're kind of just squeezing the second compressor. So I'm not doing a lot of gain reduction on my mix bus. But I am doing some. And you're allowed to do some if it's getting you to the sound that you want. You do have to be careful with it, though. Make sure your attack and release times are like good and they're not causing any crazy pumping. But here, let's just do this real quick. I'm going to turn my entire mix bus chain off and on. I'll take everything. You might hear like little clicks because my system's trying to catch up. But this is going to be, unfortunately, the last thing we can do today because I have to hop on a phone call in a few minutes. But here, let's start with everything bypassed, and then we'll drop everything in. So it's kind of holding everything together on my mix that I have going on here. One of my notes that I've mentally made for this, I have too much effects going on right now. So this is kind of like why I put things onto a bus, is I can just grab my effects bus and bring it down and blend these in a little better. Because compared to the mix that they put out, theirs was much drier. Oh, look at that. I'm noticing that your guys' chat with one another is kind of hidden. So let's put it over here. Because why not? There's usually not a lot of stuff going on over there. So yeah, I have everything going to an effects bus, and I can just take all of that. Ew, you're very welcome for the reply. So that's already better. I mean, I have my volume way down now, but I've reduced the overall amount of effects, like reverbs and delays and all the other stuff, as a whole. And that's why I put everything into an effect bus, because if I get a little too heavy-handed, I can just take all of them down with one fader. Okay, so I do have to say goodbye for today. We're going to come back next week on Tuesday. As of right now, some things have changed, and that's why I have a 4 o'clock call. That maybe things might have to change, but we'll figure it out when we get to it. In the meantime, we'll kind of hold it that we have our next live stream is going to be Tuesday at 2:30 in the afternoon. I do want to say, oops. I want to say oops because I'm on the wrong computer. I want to come over here and hit save. thanks for coming and hanging out. Thank you for all the donations that you guys sent in today. Thank you for the feedback on the mix and what we've been doing. Bill, thanks for stopping by. Hazel's been here. Kyle has been here. Audrey has been here. I saw Marp before. This bunch of people. Again, thank you all for coming and hanging with me every time I do a live stream. It really means a lot. Thank you for the donations. It really helps everything come together so that I can continue to make this stuff for you guys. Brett is there too. How could I forget Brett? Thanks for coming and hanging. Send me messages. Let me know what you think of this and where we got in an hour. This is what we did in an hour. You guys heard it. The timer went off. So thanks again. I appreciate you guys coming out. I hope you have a great weekend and happy mixing if you get any stuff done this in your time. I kind of made that up at the end. Whatever. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody, and I will see you next week.